No matter how talented a filmmaker you are, if you can't do this one thing right, you will be always step behind. Glad you are here. I want to show my path as a documentary filmmaker, and at the same time my bread and butter are commercial projects where I always try to put the focus on storytelling. This might sound a bit controversial, but in the non-fiction world, shoot days are actually the least important part of the process. They are the most fun, sure, but not the most important part for building a strong story, not compared to the pre-production or the post-production. So today let's talk about the difference between projects with no pre-production at all, with pre-production, and those with a bit too much of it, especially about treatments and all of the presentations we learned about in school, never realizing that they would become such an essential part of our creative careers. Why pre-production is one of the most important stages in my opinion, and why you should always use it, no matter what kind of projects are you doing. What I've learned from it, what should you avoid, and most importantly, what does it give you when you realize that you would spend more time behind your computer than on set. I will explain what a treatment actually is in a second, but first, why you should stick around till the end. You will see how putting more focus on pre-production can completely change your career. Whether you are working as a freelance cinematographer, running your own small production company, or creating for agencies. From my perspective, none of the final films, ads, or even the best projects I've done ever gave me as much confidence in my filmmaking skills as even average projects with great creative pre-production. And that's the biggest invisible benefit. It allows you to consistently do better work, because directing, luckily less and less these days, is still often seen as some kind of mystical vision, inspiration, or a gift, or this belief that during the shoot you will suddenly have a genius idea that will win you an Emmy. The truth is, it's all about clearly communicating to everyone involved what's in your head and what you are trying to achieve. With actors, with talent, with producers, clients, and the crew. So when I talk about gaining confidence, I mean creating those assumptions. The simple, difficult, the creative one, experimental, in the treatment, and then actually delivering them in the final film. That awareness that I executed idea, planned months before, sometimes so small that no one else even remembers it, gives me that inner confidence that I can plan, execute, and deliver something real under the time pressure and all of kinds of challenges. The second reason to always make a treatment is the ability to test ideas. A huge part of documentary filmmaking is interviews. So I can only estimate, but I've probably filmed a few thousand talking heads, if not 10,000. And the most memorable ones are always those where I did real pre-production and tested certain creative ideas. For example, in that film about the first private symphony orchestra in Poland, my treatment explored ways to show the monumentality of the concert hall while still giving the musician room for its introspection and the inner emotion. So we chose wider lenses and placed them much lower than usual. Was it hard to convince the client or even myself to do something that might look odd at first? Not really, because it wasn't a spontaneous idea thrown out on set. It was a planned creative decision, written down in treatment, backed up with photos from the location scout. Everyone was confident that it wasn't a random artistic choice, and that we would keep it consistently throughout the film. And honestly, even if the final cut, that idea had turned out to be a mistake, it's much easier to learn from that. I can go back to the script and ask, why didn't this thing that looked good on paper actually work in real life? You don't get that kind of learning from random on-set mistakes. Another example is a 30-minute documentary about a hospital. I wanted to start the film with a conversation between three people who would set up the story. In the end, it didn't happen for a lot of reasons, but including that idea in the treatment forced me to analyze things. How to make their conversation specifics, how to bring out emotion, how to create a space where they could open up about right topics. That's incredibly valuable experience, and those written ideas don't disappear. You can always go back, analyze why something didn't work, and use it again in a future project where it fits better. To me, those are the two biggest advantages of writing treatments, no matter the project size. The first treatment I ever made was for a project that didn't even require one. But comparing that to what I do now, many keynotes presentation later, the progress is huge. So what makes a good treatment and how do you approach it? First of all, remember, you are making it for other people. In most cases, it's for a client or producers, so focus on visual examples that best illustrate what you are describing. Treatments often compete with others, and the goal is for yours to stand out. And even if you have exclusivity on a project, assume that the person opening for the first time wants to quickly feel your approach. For example, in my old cafe commercials treatment, one of my main visual ideas was top-down shots of the tables with customers. So why didn't I spend more time finding better examples of that? Because back then I wasn't as aware of how much visuals matter. Luckily, that was just one of my vibe ideas rather than detailed shot list. If you are looking for reference, two great size are shot decks for narrative and documentary work and set frame for high-end commercials. Another thing to remember, every treatment is different. Some are 2-3 pages, some are over a dozen, depending on the project and of course budget. If I had to name two must-have sections, they would be script breakdown, simply your idea, bit by bit, what's the film about, and look and feel, especially the feel. What emotions your ideas will evoke and what the viewer will feel. I also prepared 2 more reasons your projects can reach a higher level if you consistently use this process. A treatment is just one-of-a-kind presentation. There are pitch decks, mood boards and many others, but putting in that extra effort makes collaborations so much easier with the client, with the agency and the crew. Of course, it helps everyone stay on the same page during production. But one thing I really love is including a section for the editor. If you are editing the project yourself, you can get by without it. But in my case, I rarely edit, because honestly, it's not my strongest side. And there are so many specialists who do it much better. Editors have the amazing advantage of being able to work remotely for the whole world. But if you include in your treatment your ideas for pacing, music and overall mood, even if the edit is handled by the agency or production house, you make the editor's life much easier. They will be grateful, they will work faster and the final film will stay true to your original vision. And if during post-production something turns out completely off, the editor can help spot it and you will be able to discuss it much more clearly. I saved for the last the part that surprised me the most in treatments and sometimes literally saved me. Treatments help me reconnect with projects. Commercials are usually made really fast, but in the world of documentaries, even the branded ones, projects can last months. And in that time, the amount of work I have is never ideal. It's either too much, everything can blend together and get chaotic, or too little and then I work on my passion projects. So treatments remind me what I originally meant when I started a particular film. They let me quickly go back to, say, a location idea for an interview and tell production exactly what we need. Treatments and pitch decks are a crucial part of creative work. The sooner you start using them, the sooner you will truly begin improving. Not only in your craft, but in your ability to communicate your ideas clearly to other people. And that's really what filmmaking is all about. Your unique way of seeing the world and your ability to tell the stories that others can understand and feel.